It appears that Americans are becoming frustrated with the president's response to the coronavirus pandemic. A new Politico poll shows 61% of registered voters say the president was not prepared to handle this outbreak. As ABC's Andrew Dimbert reports, this comes after President Trump claimed we were in for a painful 2 weeks.
I want every American to be prepared.
Hard times ahead for millions of Americans as the number of dead and sick from COVID-19 in the U.S. continues to rise. President Trump with a dark description of what's to come, predicting a painful 2 weeks ahead. Top officials on his coronavirus task force now believe as many as 250,000 Americans could die from the pandemic, even if they follow the administration's social distancing guidelines. They say the number could be in the millions without social distancing.
They're very sobering. When you see 100,000 people, that's at a minimum number.
The medical outlook on the outbreak as bleak as the financial one. Millions of workers and businesses left with no income for the foreseeable future. And now that it's the first of the month, rents and mortgages are due. According to the New York Times, the real estate industry expects as many as 40% of New Yorkers may not be able to pay.
After my mom lost her full-time job, our biggest fear is getting evicted and becoming homeless.
As manufacturing and retail grind to a halt, Vice President Mike Pence, head of the U.S. Coronavirus Task Force, visited a Walmart distribution center.
You guys you're burning up miles every day, making sure the American people have the food and the supplies, support they need.
On CNN, Pence was asked about the administration's delayed response to the crisis and seemed to shift blame to the Centers for Disease Control.
I will be very candid with you and say that in mid-January, the CDC was still assessing that the risk of the coronavirus to the American people was low.
Also at issue, the strife between states and the federal government. New York, the epicenter of the pandemic in the U.S., says despite assurances from the White House, supplies are still in short order. Governor Andrew Cuomo says as a result, the worst is yet to come.
What we're looking at now is the apex, top of the curve, roughly at the end of April.
White House officials say that extreme social distancing appears to be slowing the spread. According to the administration, data out of Washington state and Europe point to those measures working. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.